Welcome, everybody. Episode number 2, the Seller Club podcast.
Let's go.
Here
Hey, guys.
we go. Huge episode. Big episode. Big episode. Bigger than your death pile.
That's pretty big.
This,
Pretty big.
yeah, not a.
Money
Yeah, I've heard
Mountain.
profit
that one.
pile.
I
Money-
asked Ken. Oh, exactly. I asked Anna, what are we talking about today? Anna's like, we're going all in on Q4.
That's right, because guess what?
Q4,
It's
baby.
Q4.
It's Q4.
We're already
now.
here. Holiday season approaching. It's upon us. It's.
You guys feeling it?
I mean.
I'm feeling
Yeah.
it.
Right now, I'm just trying to get caught up.
Glenn's
As-
underneath a
I
death
know.
pile.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I know. So explain your current
I
situation.
was drowning a little bit. I mean, it's the busiest time of the season. I'm just trying my best to get everything listed, ready to go. I mean, there's more inventory than ever, I think, during this, I don't know, this whole year or two. And I'm like, how do I
Yeah.
get caught up? So, man, we got a lot of topics.
Yeah,
Go
you've
ahead.
been snatching up the deals left and right, so you're like, now this all has to get listed.
Now all the work has to, turn into money, to
That's right.
profits.
Yep.
So how are we going to do this?
Well, guys, this is it. Welcome to the club. Episode 2. Drop the beats.
The beat has been dropped.
Drop. All right, Glenn, start us off.
All right, so let's start off with the first one, a little bit of inventory management.
Oh, my
Now-
specialty.
Okay.
Exactly. Now,
Well, that's why he's asking the
I
question.
know, do we have enough stock to, I guess, keep this whole thing replenished and keep it going? Now, here's the thing: holiday season. When it comes to, let's say, the thrifting, garage sale, flea market aspect,
Yeah.
Anna, how do we approach it from that, I guess,
Yeah.
point of view?
That's a great question because I bet there are some differences. So my whole inventory strategy is to have a large inventory that sells through, including a lot of long tail stuff, which means that if you don't know that phrase, that means like it takes a long time to sell. You're waiting for just the right person to find this kind of weird thing that not a lot of people are out there looking for. The beautiful thing about holiday for a store like mine is that it is the time of year where a lot of people are looking for that special, unique gift for somebody, or they've been given
That's
a
true.
gift card or, money as a gift, and they're like, I'm finally going to procure that special, weird, unique thing for myself that I've had on my watch list or whatever. So definitely my best quarter of the year is always Q4, hands down, no questions asked. But I think that sort of buyer behavior has a lot to do with it. So staying stocked with inventory, I think is important just because, in a sense, the buyer behavior side of things, there's more people looking and shopping than usual. And so you want to be really relevant and have fresh listings up and get that traffic to your listings and your store. So this is not the time to be slowing down on your listings, even though it might be tempting if you have a lot more shipping than usual to do. It's not the time to slow down, but rather I would argue it's a time to strategize and use things like scheduled listings to make sure that you're continuing to list fresh stuff during this time.
All right. Before I go to Ken, though, I want to stay there because you have, so many different niches in your store. So you're saying, like, if someone's really looking for, like, a pastime toy or something that they remember
Right.
from the late 90s or, like, early 2000s, and then you give it to somebody as, like, a special gift, like, man, I haven't seen that in a while.
For
I
sure.
mean, that's, like, a perfect target on the eBay side of things that you won't get anywhere else on a different platform.
Definitely.
So I like that. Now, I think Ken's point of view is more of like brand new items, brand new gifts.
Oh,
Obviously,
yeah.
brand new is like, you never lose in that point. But
For sure, new with tags. I mean, that's the other thing. It's like if you do have a death pile and you have a miscellaneous store like I do, and you need to prioritize what you're listing, people are willing to spend more money per item right now, and they want new with tags also. So anything that's higher value and or new with tags, that goes to the top of the priority list.
So how would you attack pre-owned, though? I mean, do you think that It has to be a specialty item there. I guess because if you get like a shirt, pre-owned shirts, I don't know. It really doesn't really seem like a big gift thing. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, because the other thing is just that when people are shopping for holiday, their wallets are just open. They're just
True.
shopping more in general, right?
just open
So-
season.
So it's like
Yes,
the buyer
they're like, let me
habits.
just
Yeah,
go ahead
like,
and
it's
throw
like-
this in there. I mean, another great, this isn't as much on the inventory management side, but this is also making a great case for like doing promotions that combine orders and stuff like that, because maybe they're going to throw in something for themselves to get free shipping or whatever like that. But like, yeah, I think pre-owned is still, and pre-loved, that's a huge value in the market right now. That's growing really fast. And I think, again, if your items are good quality and they can't find them anywhere else, or they're not at a price point that can be easily afforded elsewhere, you're giving a really good deal on it, even if it isn't new with tags. It's a high quality item that's a great value. I think that it's still gonna have the best chance to sell.
Do you have any holiday stuff in your store right now? Like Grinch or things like
I have the Grinch for sale in the store.
Exactly.
Himself. No,
his sled, his
I
chair,
do
or something
actually.
like that.
Vintage Christmas decorations are a really big deal. Certain
I'm
ones,
sure.
especially certain ornaments, but the thing is, like, I list those things all year long, and I sell
year,
them all
okay.
year long. I think there's a little bit of an uptick. Like this past week, I sold 2 things that were probably for children's Halloween costumes, for example. And
Very
so
true.
that's like a seasonal thing, but I wouldn't have waited to list those things. If
That's
I
true.
found them in May, I would have listed them in May, and they would
Yeah.
they would still be there. So that's just a personal complication that I choose not to have in my process, where I'm like waiting to list certain things at certain times. I'm just
Yeah.
throwing it all in there as soon as I can, basically. But there are, definitely things like Christmas ornaments that tend to be good gifts, or like keepsakey type of things that people probably do buy a little bit more in a little higher volume around the holidays. So, but that stuff's always available. If
True.
you're having a Christmas in July party, you can find something in my store in July. So,
ugly sweaters.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
100%.
Some intentionally, some totally serious, but still ugly.
Exactly. So from Grinch stuff to Kobe Grinches, let's talk to Kenny.
Oh my gosh, what's a Kobe Grinch?
Yep.
Please educate me.
Oh, there is a Kobe
there?
Grinch. As a matter of fact, I actually just got one.
And it's in your size,
other day.
Anna, and Ken's going to give them to you.
Merry Christmas
For
to
free.
me.
For free.
For free.
Insane.
That's not what Q4 is about,
Yeah,
Glenn.
right.
It's not about giving away
Well,
stuff for free.
yeah. It's,
Oh, sorry.
Well, one, I make sure it's not Anna's size.
Oh, man. Come on now.
Yeah, it's actually a pre-owned Grinch, because they're like, I got it like $500 under a brand new price.
What?
So so they kind of like sell between what, like 800 to 1500 now.
So I'm a 7.5.
So my
All right, we'll be ready.
yeah, so we have to wait for some podcast ads before we can buy it.
Sponsors, if you're listening, we're available.
Yeah. I think more than this would be probably the first Q4 I'm going in that I am very price conscious as far as the average selling price. We've talked about this previously. Like the past years, it didn't matter what kind of inventory you had. It was just if it's giftable and if it was fashionable. It didn't matter if it was 400, 500
Wow.
bucks. There were times, I think like personally, like one of my day record was like $5,000 in
Wow.
one day. And that was just random Yeezys for like 300 to 350. And then now the market has definitely changed. So I'm very aware of, like people are not spending that kind of money
Yeah.
anymore. So I've definitely scaled back as far as average sale price. So I'm now more focusing on the $80 to $150 price
Yeah.
range. So probably now like 10%, probably only 10 to 20% of my inventory that's over 200 bucks. But 80% of them are sub 100 or within 100 range. So that's kind of like my game plan for inventory as far as the mix up. And like then Glenn said, more than ever, there's more inventory.
Yeah.
There's just more people offering inventory. Like, I just got an email like, "Hey, would you buy this?" And people are ready with their list, getting ready to let go.
Wow.
So I'm more of like very, I would say, um, playing it safe. I'm not being risky this time. Before I was just like spend all my money on inventory. I'll get it back after Q4.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, man, if it doesn't sell in Q4, it's gonna be really dry in
Right.
Q1, and I'm gonna be really hurting if I put it all out there. So that's kind of like my game plan for inventory for sure. What about you?
Oh, go ahead, Anna. Anna was going to say
I
something.
would sorry, thanks. I was gonna ask like
Go
well
ahead, go ahead.
for Glenn's like original question. So it sounds like you're doing more kind of safer bets, you know, a little bit lower ASP because that's
100%.
more accessible. But does that mean that you like would the question of are you fully stocked to be able to do the volume you're going to do in Q4? Like, is that a really relevant question for you because it's more about volume this time around?
Yeah, I mean, I would say this is the I've had the least inventory going through this Q4 compared to the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But I think it's part of that strategy. I'm not really like feeling the great uptick like it was the last 2 years. As a matter of fact, I might list some clothing items like we have. I mean, we haven't listed clothing items in a
Yeah.
long time, but this year we're kind of trying to capture like, do we have any like $30 to $50
Yeah,
range?
absolutely.
As like add-on items, kind of like what you said. Maybe you run promotion if you buy two, you get 10% off. Just more of like, again, you said volume. Like, we want people. I mean, I'm assuming a lot of people are gonna try to stretch their budget. So I'm expecting that, and also to like a lot of the lower end, not very high cost items. I think will do very well. So I would say I wish I was stocked better, but I'm not really trying to like overextend or be aggressive.
Yeah.
So for me, safe bets is kind of like my strategy.
Cool.
For Q4.
So you
Yeah, the
still have
market-
plenty. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the market is totally different compared to past years, like Ken said. So, I mean, we know toys are gonna sell, video game, like all the same stuff, But I guess being in like the niches that we're in, whether it's like hats and jerseys, and then into like shoes, clothing, there just seems like an abundance right now. Like it's just like, man, what is gonna catch people's attention, and when they do sell, do you plan on replenishing those items and sell more of them?
Right.
Or are you like, hey, I'm playing it safe, like Ken said. When they sell at the price I want to, and then have other items available that we hope will sell as well. And when they sell, it's like, all right, that's it. They're done. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting this Q4, I think, compared to the past, like, 2-3 seasons. But I don't know. Let's see.
Do you guys normally start having like big Q4 uptick already, like the very beginning of October, end of September, 1st of November? Like, when does it usually happen for you guys?
So I think, I mean, the last week or two have been a lot better than, I think, September period. I mean, the first, like, 2 weeks September were just rough.
Yeah,
So it
same.
has gotten a little bit better. I think now we're in October, and then getting into November, we're going to see that uptick. But, I think
Black Friday.
yeah, Black
causes
Friday
it,
like
right?
just
You would
triggers
think.
people to just start spending money, and they like they
Yeah.
feel like they're like on a
Yeah.
time crunch where it's like, I gotta get this now.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
I need to go look back
So-
at my numbers, but I'm pretty sure that I'm usually like, Q4's coming, and then in September I'm like, what's that? A little trickle of Q4? And it's like, oh no, not really. Actually, it doesn't really kick in until about mid-October. I think that's what normally happens, but I want to go back and look at my like weekly totals and see what I can see, because also, since I went full-time, right before COVID started, basically nothing has been like it was for the previous 3 years that I was part-time. Like, those patterns have been a little whack every year, not exactly what I expected. So I need to go back and see what actually happened and compare it to my impression of what usually happens. But I feel like normally at this point I'm like, it should be happening, and then like a couple weeks later it actually does start happening.
Very true. Let's talk a little bit about shipping. So
Oh yeah.
Now, supplies, me and Kenny have always pushed, like, get your supplies early. You start ordering them from USPS. They're free. What are you waiting for? Sometimes they take forever to ship, which they actually do have a, charge you a shipping option, which I think if you want it in 2 or 3 days, yeah, you got to pay, like, quite a bit, too, depending on how much stuff you're getting. But they do have that option there. But don't wait that long. Get it for free. You should already been ordering these things, I would think, especially if you already know what kind of things you're selling. So for Anna, if you have different niches, what kind of boxes are you ordering? Your face is already like...
I'm like, can we call it niches even at this point? I don't think so. Yeah, it's a great question. So again, my shipping situation is one of the more complicated things about my business because I don't have a one size fits all or a categorical way of like ordering or predicting what I need for shipping supplies. I don't pre-pack stuff because I have so much stuff. It would just be like way more storage space if everything was pre-packed and it would take forever. So I've never done that. But what I do to prepare for Q4 in my current situation, I actually have, well, first of all, definitely if you're an eBay seller, go get your free shipping supplies. If you have an eBay store subscription, you get a voucher for a certain amount of free branded eBay branded shipping supplies. The new tape is fire. It's like solid colors. It's so cool.
I like that.
I'm super obsessed with the tape. I don't know why I love tape so much, but I always end up getting the tape. It seems like every time because I use a lot of it and I love it so much and it works.
Yeah,
it's
I like
tape.
it too.
Yeah,
it
but
is.
Anyway, so do that. That's another free supply you have if you're an eBay store person. But also, like, I get almost all of my other shipping supplies I need, like random small to large boxes and filler, and not so much like poly mailers and bubble mailers. I do sometimes still buy those like in bulk. Those I'm pretty stocked up on already, I think. But everything else I get for free from like small local retailers. And so what I've been doing, a lot of times I go once a week to a couple different small retailers in my little town that I live in. So if I can find them, by the way, in a little 10,000 person cornfield town, you can find them in your town. I promise. There's somebody who is stocking shelves with something and they're throwing away stuff that's going in the landfill that you could actually use to pack. So I get, boxes, paper, bubble wrap, packing peanuts, all kinds of stuff, whatever they have. I go once a week and pick it up. And then sometimes I have like way too much of something. So I'll have like, okay, this is just too many boxes. I don't need this many. Or like packing paper is very popular. And it, I fill up trash bags of that and just like have so much paper. Sometimes I do have to just get rid of some of it. And I recycle it then instead. But, I'm willing to do that sorting and stuff because I get free shipping supplies. It's awesome. That was one of my biggest expenses in the past. So I get it all for free, but what I'm doing to sort of stock up for Q4 is basically I'm recycling less of what I don't use and storing it in my shed outside. So I have like several backup bags of paper and, several boxes full of broken down boxes in case I like burn through a bunch during Q4 and I have some backup stock to help me. And then if I don't use it, and things, slow back down to semi-normal after Q4, I can just recycle it then. But if you have the storage space, you can still, in that way, stock up, quote unquote, for free as Q4 gets closer. And then,
do you order from USPS.com? Do you use their priority boxes?
So I did in the past a whole lot, but ever since Ground Advantage. USPS Ground Advantage became a thing, I pretty much don't use priority anymore, almost ever. Occasionally, I will use
in most of the items because of the weight.
Because now there's not a weight limit. The weight limit's like 70 pounds or something for ground. It's not, it used to be like first class and priority.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
And there's and there's still insurance.
It makes sense. After a pound, it's priority.
Right.
Okay,
so that's why I use so much of that. But occasionally, I still will have something that needs to go, in a little bit faster. It's a day or two faster to send it priority, or it will fit in a flat rate bubble mailer for priority mail. Sometimes, depending where it's going, sometimes that's still the most cost effective or fastest. So I keep some of those on hand, but I used to burn through those priority mail boxes like crazy.
Yeah, because like the box
Mm-hmm.
7, it's a 12 by 12 by 12, and you can stack them and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But in I actually while we were talking, I actually just ordered some 1095 and 1092.
Oh, look at this
I'm
guy.
like so impressed
because,
with
you
you
know,
for
they're
knowing the
free.
numbers. I don't know the numbers.
Oh yeah, we
The
know
people
it
that
by
work
heart.
Wow.
at USPS don't even know the numbers. Sometimes I like to like stump them. I'd be like, "What size is this one? You know what this one's called?" They're like,
Yeah,
"No."
man.
Like,
Ken
come on
like
now.
Well-
Ken publicly called me an eBay nerd
So-
because of shipping stuff, and he's the one over here knowing the numbers. He be knowing the priority box numbers.
Yeah.
Who's the nerd
well,
now?
Well, only because we only use 3
Yeah.
PS boxes. The shoe box, the 1095, and the 1092, and then occasionally the box 7.
Yeah.
And the padded
I know a little
flat
bit
rate.
more.
Yeah.
And the padded flat rate, and then I do still have like the old regional
Oh yeah,
boxes.
yeah. A and B.
That one we could use as priority
Okay,
now.
that's interesting.
They actually, yeah. So I actually ordered a bunch of those before they canceled them because they're pretty
They're
like
good sizes.
they're like perfect for, yeah, they're perfect for a shoebox that doesn't have a box, or even like ladies'
Yeah.
shoebox, smaller sizing. So that's the thing. But also because of authenticity guarantee, we have to ship through FedEx.
Oh, right.
So that means we can use
Right.
that box. So currently we have 500 boxes on standby for the brown boxes, and also we have to use those. Same with Glenn, we have to use those for goat
Yeah.
and StockX.
So do
because we ship
you buy
UPS.
those brown boxes?
From?
Do you-
Yep, we buy.
Yeah.
them.
Do you have a shout out for the?
Do you have an affiliate link?
I don't.
How about a
currently,
sponsorship?
But, well,
Let's secure
that.
mean, hey, how about a sponsorship? Whoever's has a box company or a shipping
heck yeah.
company, hit us up. And
We
Seller Club
loyal shippers.
podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seller Club podcast at gmail.com for any businesses or
Any
promotions.
business inquiries?
Um,
Thanks.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah, we buy those. I actually just buy it from Granger.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
people buy it from Uline. Glenn buys it from eBay. Right?
Gotta
We buy
support
it from
the
eBay.
sellers.
That's
you know?
right. I buy a lot
what
of my
kind of
shipping
seller
stuff.
would I be if I didn't?
Right. You want to be the supportive seller.
100%.
A game changer though. Game changer. We've switched to 3-inch tape.
Oh, really?
I wasn't a believer.
Interesting.
I wasn't a believer. I was like, 2 inches is cheaper,
Yeah.
right? Until I tried it, and then now it's just
It's
one
like
done.
diesel and
covers the
unleaded.
gap. Yeah, it's like I'm like, ooh. And then you get the nice gun, the tape gun, and I'm like, that's actually you're getting that for your Christmas.
Oh,
I'm giving you
nice.
that.
Wow,
Does it have
okay.
loud squeaks? Or is it smooth?
Yeah. This one has loud. Yeah, I don't buy the. I mean, it's you can buy the the
Yeah,
silent
I like
tape.
that.
I'm like,
Silent.
dude, I feel like that's fake. Right? At that point, that has to be not.
Glenn
not a
gets
real
the tape
tape.
gun.
You know, it's
I
like-
get the Grinches. Yes.
What a gift.
wow.
Tape gun and Grinch.
What a gift. But also to on the shipping, let's just touch into this. Let me ask Glenn this. Glenn, do you add any other shipping services, or will you during Q4?
Like,
holidays.
like 1 day, 2
Like
day.
a 2-day or overnight.
I
or
mean, I
something like that.
definitely-
How what's your process?
Well, I
like?
definitely would, but they would have to also reach out because I don't have it by. I mean, I guess I could have it by default as an option.
Yeah.
But it also just depends on, I guess, what kind of item it is. But I mean, the hats usually that they get there pretty quickly. The problem is the AG stuff. We have no control
Yeah.
over
Yeah, we
that.
have no
So
control.
that is kind of, and then with brand new shoes too, which like prime gift stuff. It's
Yeah.
like, but eBay's been pretty quick with it. I think compared to
they've been the fastest.
other
compared to
platforms.
I hope they are ready for Q4 and AG.
Oh,
Because
man,
that's going to be
man.
bananas.
Well, because they've been authenticating
everything. So
everything, pretty much everything. Which
Yeah.
a lot of stuff they should.
I want a hot take
Pumas,
from you guys on something.
okay, go ahead.
How much
ahead.
would it cost? Like, let's just say you could wave a magic wand or add to your business policies a hand delivered by you personally option. How much would that cost? And or would it be a murder trap?
How much would that cost? Ken's. I'm gonna order something from Ken. He has to come all the way to El Paso
Yes.
and hand deliver it.
Yes.
I would say for
And
me,
sing a Christmas carol at your
$1,000.
front door as well.
$1,000?
$1,000. $1,000 I'll be there.
$1,000.
What? That's too much?
What if
That's too
someone
little.
ordered
I'll,
like
I'll do that order right now.
Oh, Glenn's gonna order me. Wow.
Wait, so do you just
see-
you just deliver it, you leave?
I mean, yeah, like you could
Yeah,
theoretically
I mean-
think about this now. You could theoretically
To have lunch with me, that's
yeah,
extra.
yeah, right. That's an add-on service. But like
Okay.
you could
That's an
fly,
add-on.
like you could book airline tickets and Uber to
Yeah.
their house and just you have to personally hand it off at the front door like
Yeah.
$1,000.
Put it this
Okay.
way:
Just curious.
you can round trip anywhere in the country for under $1,000. Would you agree, Anna? Would you agree, Glenn?
Depends on the airline, but yeah.
no.
I think you could. I think you
Depends if you're
could.
in
And the
El Paso.
small airport that El Paso has. I don't know.
You
No. I guess what you're considering is time,
Yeah.
right? Because like if you don't have direct flight, next thing you know, it takes me 8 hours to
Right.
get to El Paso. That's like a day
Yeah.
of. Okay, I get.
or you're
it.
not
hiring
only
a
that-
private
Yeah, I get
pilot,
it.
maybe.
Oh, true. But not only that, I was gonna say because I need the gift, next day. So you need to be
Yeah.
here tomorrow. That kind of thing.
Right.
Oh,
Expedited hand delivery.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Oh yeah. That's.
But
more-
seriously,
more
I
than
mean, you guys
1,000.
are like internet famous, so you might have like some huge fan out there who would pay you a lot to do that. Would you do it?
Here we go. Internet
Okay,
famous influencer. These are banned words.
I don't
But,
know. Internet famous? That's just a fact.
Yeah, internet
That's not a
famous is not
title.
influencer. He should, yeah. I would say, okay, now that you said that, I just double it. $2,000.
Okay.
$2,000
Okay,
is fine.
$2,000.
$2,000, Ken will do it.
Right, Glenn?
This is
Would you agree?
hypothetical. We're not saying the service is available and no one can make you offer it. I'm just very curious.
I mean, yeah. I mean, okay, so on the serious note, we probably could add that as handling,
Yeah,
extra
handling,
handling time,
sure.
right? Overnight handling $1,000 in person delivery or $2,000 in
Yeah.
person delivery. We might have to experiment that and see if actually somebody.
I'm gonna
does.
order the biggest
It's
item
just a
you
business
have.
policy.
So you have to take it with you, or carry it with you somehow.
I mean, like, yeah. Well, I don't have like
What's
any
the
like
biggest-
giant. I'm not selling a chair or something like that.
I have some
So-
really large original oil paintings in my store. That would be a pain.
But you can put it on
Oh.
as a luggage.
no, I couldn't fly
Like
with
a,
that.
you
I
know,
would have
oversized.
to drive it. I would have to drive it.
Oh, we could drive it too. If it's closer, I'll drive it and then keep.
Heard the
pocket more
cats,
money.
Glenn. I didn't mean to go on this huge tangent. I was just curious what you guys would charge for that. So
Yeah, we're not. 2,000.
Glenn has still not stated a number.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
He hasn't
I'm
stated
thinking
a
about
number.
it.
He's like, how much is my life worth?
I know.
He's more famous,
No,
that's
no,
what it
no.
is.
It's more for like, imagine you leave, and then during that time, you get like, I don't know how many sales.
There's
Oh yeah,
there's turbulence.
You're
You're like-
stuck.
Glenn.
yeah.
what if
yeah.
what if it's a snowstorm and you're stuck for the next 2-3 days?
Yeah, maybe you have a cutoff date, so it's like
Well,
you're not
put it
going
this
to
way.
Alaska.
Since you're a YouTuber, you can vlog it and make money.
Oh,
on it.
and see now we're talking. You're gonna double dip on the chip. All right, so let's
No. On the serious note, though, a really good tip. Especially, I mean, you mentioned AG, so most of the $75 and up, we can't really overnight it. But maybe we can do anything under $75. I've always done it. I add a secondary shipping option. I always do UPS 2-day and FedEx 2-day or UPS overnight or USPS. So I actually add more options. But you have to be careful to make sure that you have your dimensions.
yeah,
Because it could
your dimensional
screw you
weight has
really
to be
bad, or the
accurate.
weight.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yes, right. What was the percentage?
So
Anna?
small.
How many, like only 20%
Actually,
people
put in the
the
dimensions
dimension
and the
and
weight of everyone listing stuff on
So
eBay.
80% of people can't even do what we're suggesting them to
Right.
do, but it would actually save you time because I actually only do it in Q4 because I think that's when people want it
Yeah.
faster, right? Any other time, like I don't think it's more of like a special request. But for me, I just kind of like hate having to edit a listing and add it on for me. So I just have like a blanket. I just edit all that's under $75 that doesn't go through AG, and add like extra shipping.
If you use business policies, it's really, really easy to do something like that. Add a service or change your handling, extra handling cost or handling time.
Can we add like a gift wrapping option?
There are a couple different ways that I've seen people do that. There's not formally.
Oh, they can buy.
You can buy add it as an item, right? That's like basically like it's basically a service. But I've seen people do that where you like can add it to your cart.
But you're buying the gift wrapper,
right?
Anyway,
it's like almost like it's the
gift
paper,
wrapping.
Yeah,
that's
people can
true.
do that.
Would you do that, Glenn? Glenn is super like time
Yeah,
sensitive right now.
It's like packing it twice, kind of. I mean,
time sensitive and just sensitive in general right now. Just
how dare you call me famous?
sensitive, highly sensitive person.
He's sensitive. He's tender right now. We're just
So compassionate.
Exactly. well, going off of because you're talking about shipping and timing. So would you say cutoff date more than likely is like December 17th, 18th, 19th? You start to see like it slowing down, or do you?
Oh, like you mean the people buying?
Or do you see it ramp up at the very end?
I don't see it slowing down because sometimes people's family holiday gathering is like in a week after Christmas.
After,
sometimes.
yeah.
And also people are stuck at home with their family and they're on their phone shopping to avoid their family.
Maybe they got money for
maybe they
Christmas
got
already.
They got money.
There's
got
all
gift
kinds
card.
of reasons, but seriously, like Christmas Day is usually a pretty good day for me, like in sales, and it's always surprising.
When was this, Glenn? Was there a time that we had a better Q1? We had a better January than
I
December?
think it had to been like maybe 3 years ago.
Was it 2020?
No,
I think 21, something like that. It was 21,
I
right?
think it was 21.
That was wild. That was so wild that we were joking that it was like Q5.
Yeah, that was right.
We actually called it a Q5
Nice.
because because it just rolled over, and I think it was a part of like people having money and stimulus were still being handed out or something like that.
Unless people were just not happy with the gifts they got, and they're like, "I'm just gonna order exactly what I want.
Return it.
I deserve better.
Yeah, and then man, can we talk about that? What do you think about returns? What's your take on returns on holiday?
Well, so Christmas is gonna be the 25th, is on a Monday, and I'm predicting 26th through 29th. I'm gonna get a ton of returns because that happens every year.
Is that for fit usually?
Who
knows?
That's a good question too.
More like for.
So I'm trying to remember what were the reasons. You know what? It is for.
It's more like I just didn't like it.
You know what? I thought it was for fit actually.
Fit because people buying it for other people, right? That or like they got the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, double gift.
They told everyone
like
it's what they
doubles,
wanted.
Because you know how,
and
then all but what would be tolerable, as far as return percentage? Because I think if your returns under 5%, it's
I was gonna
doable.
say
On the uptick of Q4, double that.
Yeah, I was gonna
10%.
say
ever
10.
notice like having much higher returns, like. Because I don't think the percentage for me gets a lot higher during Q4. I think the volume gets higher because the sales volume is higher too. And so it's just like easier to stomach, and I don't really think twice about it. But, a lot of my stuff is not that is fit dependent. So that could also be mitigated there. Not sure.
Ooh. Speaking of returns, I think it's time for our segment of what happened to the PlayStation 5?
Oh my gosh, what happened to it?
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
I did too.
What
I'm
happened
glad you
to
brought
it?
it up.
I'll never forget. Right? It's like a $7 return hanging on my head.
That's terrible. My return is also still hanging over my head, by the way.
Oh, they haven't shipped. Mine
shipped and it's lost.
And
what?
Yeah, but let's hear about the PlayStation 5 first.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So the PlayStation 5 got returned. So I have a PO box, so that's where all the
Smart.
return goes. Got there, right? It came at like a Lowe's medium box, way bigger than what I shipped it. So I'm like, this thing's, shaking.
Okay.
Right? And PlayStation 5 is actually heavy.
Yeah.
I think it's like
Yeah.
24
I've
pounds or
carried
something
one of
like
those
that.
out of the
It's
store.
heavy.
It is heavy.
Yeah. And then, right? And all of a sudden, it's just I'm not a big harping kind of guy, but this one I'm just like, man, I told JC, bring out the tripod. We're recording this thing.
No.
Yeah, so we brought out the tripod, put the cell phone, record. So I had to, I was like literally like unboxing a shoe. Opened it, it was in one piece. I was like,
Well,
ooh.
that's fortunate.
Right? Open the top because usually that's where all the accessories. No controller, no power supply.
Dang.
Pull it up, and this thing was kind of like dusty with
Oh,
some either
no.
dog hair or
Oh,
cat
man.
hair.
No.
Right? So I have a power supply, plugged it in. Won't
I
work.
mean, who cares if it won't work? It's not the thing you sent. At that point, it's like,
Yes.
it's
You know,
over.
this is like a flea market pawn shop. I don't know. They just found it and
Move. Yeah. It's like a
Yeah,
trade in, right? Like,
exactly.
there's a Hustlebee has a trade in program.
as it turns out, he does not have a training program.
Yeah. So I got it.
Nightmare.
And I was like, so I did call them, right? First call, eBay concierge. They called me. I called
Appreciate
them,
that so
right?
much.
Uh,
So good.
And next thing you know, I told this guy a story, and I said, look into my notes. I already kind of like advised you guys that this is happening. Well, and said, well, we can report the buyer, and then you can just go proceed and partial refund.
Oh no, I don't
Man.
think so.
My ears smoking. I was like, I gotta email somebody right
Yeah.
now. Give me an email.
This is possibly worse than a box of rocks. I'm just gonna say.
At this point, right? Because it's like, it's hard to, right? Because like now there's like he said, she
Yeah.
said,
Right.
right? Because a box of rock would be, it's like, okay, box of rocks. But this one missing and possibly not the same
Yeah.
item.
Very
Right?
unlikely.
And I've sold like other 6 of them, and they all had it all went through, and just this one.
this one was
right?
special from the beginning.
Right. So, well, then this is a pro tip for everybody that don't go to an in-person event. I'm telling you, you
Yeah.
should. Anna, this was me not using my power or anything
name,
like that.
look,
Because I went to
good
Atlanta.
looks.
Charm.
Because
Go
huh?
ahead, charm. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Yeah, I didn't use it. I didn't use my Instagram handle or anything like that, right? I didn't go the influencer route. I was just a normal, person that
Semi-normal at least.
I actually at at eBay Open Studio Atlanta.
Oh,
There says seller
that's
protection.
right. You're like, I'm a seller. I need protection.
Yes, so I made it a point to talk to everybody, right? And then I said, seller protection is really good. That was my intro to her, and she was like, "Oh, that's awesome. Any other pain points?" And then JC's like, "Oh, I know one. A return that's coming." So
Yeah.
So what happened is we took a photo of her email, and me not knowing I would need it,
Wow.
emailed her. She's like passing it on to the team, and then I was supposed to like get it refunded today, and then next thing I know, case pending. They hold for review, and then they send me an affidavit of I need to sign to say that I Kenny Gaetano, like just saying
Government
that
name.
I receive a missing item, not as described. That way, it's one or the other,
Yeah.
right? Like, am I lying or like,
Yeah.
right? So
You're like,
put it on
yeah,
record.
exactly.
So I uploaded it, sent it, and next thing you know, got an email and said, we covered you for seller protection, and they are refunding the buyer out of one-time courtesy. Yeah, I know, right?
That makes me cringe a little
and I
bit.
get to get my funds.
Because was this really that
Right,
buyer's
because-
first time? Is it a one-time courtesy?
Right, so so they've reported the buyer, I've reported it, and I'm like, but
Wow.
no, I mean, I didn't feel like I won because I just provided a service. The dude won,
Yeah.
because
In the short term.
he got a brand new
In the
PS5.
short term.
Short
Yeah.
term.
That's the
Yeah,
end of
alright,
his
alright.
scam
So-
career on eBay, though.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the episode of the PS5.
I know.
had
Thus
ended.
concludes the
I
segment.
I get to keep my money.
Wow. Well, next
Yeah,
time
I
it can
get to keep my
be
money.
the segment of what about the expensive curtains that still haven't showed up back at my house from Wyoming.
Oh,
'Cause
man.
mine-
Curtains being returned.
Remember this all came about. We were talking about returns, and
Yeah.
I had one that was sucked because it was like kind of expensive. But you were like, mine is way more expensive, and it was. But yeah,
And yours is
it's lost. They shipped it back. I sent them a label and whatever, and they shipped it back, and it stopped updating the tracking on September 25th. So now my funds, for some reason, are still on hold, which is the regular process, I think. But now we have to wait like another, 15 days or something from whatever point for the actual postal service to declare it lost. So I think I've got about a week left of that period of time, and then
you guys, the funds gets released.
yeah,
both
I
ways?
guess.
I'm sure.
Yeah, probably. But or like
Yeah, like a one-time courtesy.
yeah, or I
Another
don't know
courtesy.
though if I'm gonna have to file a claim with USPS or if eBay's gonna handle that and just refund both of us. I'll let you know because that's an interesting.
Glenn, with your 50 years of selling experience on eBay, what do you
50,
think?
yeah.
What happened?
What happens? You know what? I think they're probably going to have to refund both, I would think. I mean, because it's
Yeah.
something that's not in your control or theirs or even
Right.
eBay's, but
Well, and I can't recall if they had to pay for the return shipping or if I sent them a label, but either way, I have no way of adding insurance to cover the entire thing. If I have to add more, I can't do that on a return label, I don't think.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
but one more quick
Yeah,
note about
yeah.
shipping. When you were talking about the ghastly low percentage of people who put dimensional weight in their listings, eBay international shipping is going to be rolling
their
out
thing.
combined orders for international shipping. That is in their pipeline
Right.
and they're working on it. But I think that's only going to be effective if you have your dimensional weight in your listings. So if you
yeah.
I'm sure
gotta
because
be,
they
right?
shouldn't include somebody that's not
Yeah.
putting it. Next thing you know, it's
yeah.
3 feet by 3
Yeah,
feet kind
exactly.
of box.
So if you want to be able to combine international orders, start putting your dimensional weight in your listings.
yeah, I would say it's a
I think
good
it is.
practice. Glenn should
I
start
know.
putting
Look,
his
I'm going to
dimensions
admit, I've
in.
been kind of slacking on that. And
But yours is more uniform anyway, so in theory, you should be able to bulk edit that.
Yeah, for hats,
yeah.
you could just
You
bulk
you can
edit it.
still you can
Yeah.
still ballpark it if you just overshoot it a little bit. It'll still work. You know what I mean?
that's
Yeah.
true.
Because it's more of like Glenn's is like hats
Yeah.
or shoes
Yeah,
or jerseys.
yeah.
So it wouldn't
Or
be too
or
bad.
like a lightsaber or something.
Right.
Just
I mean,
like a
you can
random-
edit up to 2,000 listings at a time. Bulk
Okay.
edit them and do the dimensional weight that way. If you have
You're
uniform
still there,
items,
Glenn, right? You're still under 2,000
Yeah.
listings?
No.
You're still under 2,000
I'm at
listings?
21.
Oh, you're not anymore?
there you go. So you have to
Okay.
do it twice.
Do it twice. Not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, because you can do by
You can,
category.
yeah.
though.
Very true.
you can
Now,
sort
you guys
it
are
a
talking
number of
about-
ways.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, on the shipping part, which I think leads to, the customer service, customer support part, because let's say they do want it fast shipping. Hey, Christmas is tomorrow. Can you ship it now?
Yeah.
Do you guys respond to those, or you're just like, hey, we can't. I mean, you're too late, or. I mean, quite honestly, you have no control how fast it's gonna get there. I mean, I don't care if
Right.
they pay for one day.
Right.
It still may not get there on time. I mean,
Yeah,
you have you can ship it out that same morning No, I don't know if it's gonna get there or not.
Right. It's like all you can say is like, well, this is the estimated delivery, and I did everything in my control. Good luck. I hope it gets there. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, eBay already does that for us, right? Like estimated arrival or something like that. I always try to cater it. I mean, I always say like, especially when people are like haggling the price, I always add the value of like I can ship it
Yeah.
tomorrow.
ASAP.
Yeah, I could ship it, for special items, you probably could do that. I mean, only it also helps that I only live like 2 minutes from the nearest
Yeah.
USPS, so it doesn't really bother me. But what would be so Q4 holiday rush? Do you guys ship daily or do you guys ship twice a day? My quick answer is we ship twice a day, morning and morning and
Wow.
a day.
Now that you brought that up, I'm probably gonna have to make that change because right now I'm just used to like doing the same like morning ones, and now that you brought that up, I was doing afternoon ones too, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to double.
Especially with your like
Yeah,
hats, bro.
There's so many.
You have so many hats. It's like very
Yeah,
giftable.
that's
so
true.
giftable. Hashtag so giftable.
So giftable.
So hashtag
I'm gonna have to
so
look through all your
giftable.
hats and buy some,
What's-
Glenn.
Oh man.
You should-
Okay, we need
yeah.
some fitteds. What size do
I
you wear a
need-
fitted hat? Do you
I
know?
have no idea. I
Okay,
can
we're gonna have to
measure my
figure that out.
head. Okay.
Okay.
You'll have to explain
can
how to
measure
measure
your
your
head,
head. I don't even know.
Okay, we'll
Just
figure that out.
literally,
You can
it's like
YouTube it.
in centimeters or inches or okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's literally like that, and then you just go through like.
Oh,
a
yeah,
chart.
Wait,
okay,
Anna,
I could
favorite
probably do that.
teams? Favorite teams?
What sport?
Sport,
Sports
yeah.
teams.
Basketball, NBA.
Any sport.
Gotta go with the Bulls on that one.
Okay. What about
Okay.
football?
Great choice.
NFL. If you had to pick one.
Well, my namesake, the Green Bay Packers, I would probably
Okay.
support. Probably,
Okay.
probably
That's
would
good,
support
that's good.
them.
And a Packer for the Packers. What
I mean,
about
yeah. I use them all the time.
baseball? MLB?
St. Louis Cardinals. All my Cub fan family is gonna cringe when they hear me say that, but
No, Cardinals got really good logos.
yeah,
Too.
go
I love
Cards.
them.
Okay.
I
Go
love the
Cards.
birds.
Okay.
I also
Alright, so-
don't care at all about any of it.
I know. That's what I was gonna
But
say.
if I had to pick, I love cheering for a team, though. I mean,
Go
don't get me
team.
wrong. Go team.
Go sports.
Well, what about
Sports
just
ball.
like the
I love this
what about
hockey
just,
though
like, the
too.
co-
St.
the
Louis
colors?
Blues. I actually love hockey more than anything else. Probably. I know. I grew up going to hockey
Oh, that's an
games.
interesting thing.
Really fun. I like the fights
Because
and the ice.
where?
Huh?
Because why? Like anybody influence you, or is just you just like UFC on ice?
No, I would go with my aunt all the time. She was like my BFF, and also my stepdad was a big hockey
Mm-hmm. Okay.
fan, so we would go together. I played
okay.
softball, so I liked
Nice.
baseball also, but more connected with hockey, I guess. I used to ice skate too, so I just think it's
And
cool.
Zambonis and
Yeah.
it's just.
There's like a
All right.
whole fun culture with it.
All right, I'll be ready. I'll see what we have in stock.
Cool. I was
We'll
thinking I
ship
need
you
to
that.
buy Christmas
Yeah,
gifts
he
for my
probably-
family members
no,
from
he-
you, so we'll just have to figure that out.
No, he probably has. I mean, he has thousands of hats.
Too
I
many
know.
hats.
And wouldn't it be nice if you could like, like send a big order of like multiple hats and not have to individually ship them? That's what I was
That's
thinking.
very true. I like
I
that.
mean, Listen.
All right, so let's go around because like we're nearing to an hour.
I think we
might
Let's
need
go
part two.
around.
I know this is a lot.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
we
think
should.
need part
We
two
should.
for Q4. I mean, it's a lot to handle.
Let's just do that.
Yeah, I
Let's
like
do
part
part
two.
two. Because I was really like,
We
huh,
got in the
that's kinda
nitty
hard.
gritty,
Okay,
which is
so,
great. I think.
So we do. I mean, we have been doing it, so I think I like it too. So we did like customer requests, right? Like special
yeah.
customer requests. What would be the next, Glenn?
For
What do you
like
think?
customer support and how you can.
Yeah, I mean, or are we done
Well,
with
I don't
that?
think
Like,
so. Well, I
have
think
we-
what's
have we
going to
pretty much
happen is like
covered
you're
it?
going to also get messages from customers that are being like, "Hey, this never got delivered.
It's got here late.
I needed it for."
Because that's
I
gonna happen,
know.
right? Because that's gonna happen for sure,
Exactly.
especially winter
Yeah.
time, snow delays.
Have y'all
And
ever
then
had
when-
somebody
like that.
be like, "This never got here," and then they're like, "Actually, sorry, it was buried in a snowdrift," because I've had that. the snow melted and it was actually there the whole time.
What?
I'm like,
Hilarious.
well, for me, I could care less if it says delivered. It's like,
It's there somewhere.
Because someone marked it delivered. Yeah.
So now you said that. Do you guys? We have it. We do templates. Kind of like literally like from our cell phones, like copy paste in our
smart.
notes. Generic
So smart.
response. So if it has anything to do with shipping, I will always say like, please refer to the attached tracking number or call your local post office. If it says delivered, right? So if it's
Yeah.
delay, what we usually do is we just send a screenshot of like, because you know how lazy they are. They don't want
I
to click
know.
that hyperlink.
It's so much harder for
So
us
I
to
just
go
click it
find
for
the
them.
tracking link than it is for them to find. Anyways.
I know.
That is
So
so
annoying.
true. Oh yeah, because we have to go to
Yeah.
the orders, right? For them, they could just like buy item and then hit that.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Huh. So do you guys do that, or maybe that's something that you guys should do?
Well, I'll definitely respond. I don't have a. I
Yeah.
should do that with a generic one, but
Yeah.
I think that definitely is helpful. But I do agree, it's way harder.
Say
to...
like, this is Hustler Hack. Say this is Hustler Hack's customer service.
Okay.
How can I help?
This is Hustler Hassle Service Department. What do you want? No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
I get salty about it. But yeah, I respond most of the time. I mean, if it's someone who already bought something from me, I'm definitely going to respond. Sometimes that response is I will send them a screenshot. I will actually, if there's something wonky and it's like, okay, yeah, this seems like it's running late or something's going on with it, I will first line of defense be like, please refer to, basically the estimated delivery date, because if you're reaching out to me before it says it's going to be delivered and it's not delivered yet, then what am I going to do, So I want them to know there was a handling time in the listing, there was a estimated delivery that you agreed to when you bought this, and that's available to you and your information. But sometimes if it's like seems like something is amiss, then I will go hunt down their tracking number and I will take it to the USPS website and plug it into their tracking search bar because it has more information. So sometimes it gives a more detailed tracking history or a more updated one. And so sometimes I'll send a screenshot of that and be like, oh, looks like it just finally picked up today. Here's where it is. It says it's running late, but it should still be on its way. And then, if someone's really unhappy or it got here late or whatever, and there's a lot of emotion seemingly involved.
Of course.
I try to strip it down to the bare bones of okay, you're obviously upset about this. I don't even say that though. I'm like, so here are the options. I can, give you a partial refund. You can return it for free and a full refund, or please advise how you want me to proceed. Basically, I give them options. I make them choose an option because I'm not just going to tolerate a bunch of upset rambling with no attempt at a solution. So I try to make it really clear. Here are the options for solutions. I definitely want to make it right the best I can. Pick your poison,
Here's the thing. Some of these buyers got to put in the work.
Yeah.
Because for me as a buyer, there's sometimes where it says delivered and I'm like, okay, well, it's not here. So either maybe they left it with a neighbor. Maybe it's still at USPS somehow. Maybe I'll ask the postman, ask, where did they leave it? Or maybe they put it somewhere I didn't think they were going to put it, or, something like that.
You're like, maybe it's at your back door. I'm not at your house. I don't know your situation.
Yeah. But sometimes it's just they don't want to put in that extra effort. And I've done that wherever I have to order something from, and I'll try to hunt and find it, find it. I mean, where'd it go? Had to be somewhere around here.
Yeah.
But some of these guys are just it says delivered, it's not here. Where is it?
Nobody walked in and put it in my hand.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think the customer service part, which you guys also talked about that too with the shipping part. We haven't talked about returns yet, but that's probably what we're going to be talking about next time. Returns and of course running promotions. I think for the holiday we can.
That'd be a big topic.
We'll talk about that.
Like store coupons, or a volume pricing.
Yeah.
I think those were really good strategies that our growth advisor advises Casey.
I'm excited
Shout out to Casey.
to actually try Casey Yardley. What's up? To try some of that stuff because I feel like in years past I've just been like, I don't know, volume goes up in Q4 and I'm not paying a whole lot of attention to like being intentional with that.
Yeah. I feel like this year we're gonna work a little harder.
And it's, I mean, I'm in a whole different situation this year trying to get the momentum back in my whole store after moving, and I know every little bit of that is going to help. So, Ken, can we get some like jingle bells to close out this episode?
Oh, let's do that. Christmas feels. Here we go. Any last words, Glenn, before we drop the beat?
The bells.
Or the bells. No, I think I'm just ready for part 2.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Well, till the next episode, we're going to talk more about Q4. And, guys, that's a wrap for episode number 2, Seller Club Podcast. Welcome to the club. Here's the bells.
The bells.
Peace.